a rich man's world. I have turned the soul of this beautiful land, but the beauty
find himself cleaning pit spot.
Yeah.
So then when he realized once he came to
Who he is.
who he was,
Yeah.
he realized that, hey man, I don't clean pig crap. I'm gonna go back to my father.
Yeah,
right.
So when
I
he
don't
went back to the father,
have to
then
do
the
this.
father. See, the point is, there's a threefold story in that. You know, because it was a learning curve for all three. Because the learning curve wasn't just for the son that left.
No.
It was for the father and the other brother.
And the other. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And a lot of times the church ain't teaching us what actually happened and what actually needs to be taught, because there's a lot of there's a lot of history in that story that we all could learn from, because we had a jealous brother.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had a naive father compared to what the brother thought.
Mm-hmm.
But the father was compassionate, but he also was hurting because he felt like, damn, my son couldn't even wait till I pass away to get before he wanted everything.
Took his inheritance.
He wanted it now while I'm living. So but anyway, you gotta just move.
Yeah, now Alan just said the tide is changing in the Black family, but we have lost major ground to the preparation of young adults and other races. Yes. And I can agree with that. Yeah. It's going to take work, but it can be done as long as we begin to and continue to lay that foundation. Yeah.
And Alan, brother, thanks for enlightening us with your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And the thing that I always look at is we just can't give up, even when we realize that the fight is, even though we feel like the fight is, we losing the battle. We can lose battles, but always think of it like this. Yeah, I'm gonna lose some battles, but I'm gonna win the war. And you got to speak that into existence. I deal with my family all the time. I try to do events. I try to bring family together. And it ain't easy. It ain't easy to try to get everybody together. It ain't easy talking, because somebody has some type of issue with one another. And those issues always seem to come up at the darnest times. And you would think everybody having a good time, everybody smiling, everybody giggling. Then here comes somebody with an attitude.
Yep.
I don't like her. She did this to me 20,000 years ago. Mm-hmm. She got dynasty, it's
still holding a grudge.
Over her wig and everything, still mad about something. Mm-hmm. And I'm just thinking like, wow, gee, we just
hang on to
and
it.
I always tell them, in my family, man, none of this crap gonna happen on my watch. So I stand firm on when I bring my family together, and they know I don't, all of them probably listening. I don't play that crap when it comes to when I throw an event, when I throw something together. Y'all leave that crap outside of the preliminaries, because you bring it over here, you're gonna deal with me, because we're not here on that. We're trying to build. We're not, and it's brick by brick, mortar by mortar.
And we need to learn to forgive each other.
Yeah.
And I understand, people can hold grudges and stuff like that, but we do really need to, especially with families, and because at the end of the day we are family, and you can't really change who your family is.
Right.
And we're not always going to all get along. Let's just be, we're not. But I feel like there should be a level of respect that we have for each other, and we should be able to agree to disagree and keep it moving.
Yeah.
Or or still show love or whatever. And some stuff, I will say this is all situational, because some stuff I get is just some stuff people just can't move past. And if that's the case, then I think that should be respect. Hey, such don't get, but don't, like you said, if you don't get, if you need to stay separate from that person to respect the event or gathering, then I think that's okay. Why can't you just say hi and keep it moving? If you're not even speaking to that person, sometimes it is like that. Some things can't be resolved. I'm the person that wants everything resolved, but I do realize from my own sometimes things can't get resolved, and I think that's okay. But it's just like, it's really not okay, because I feel like we should be able to resolve those issues. Sometimes some people have a hard time with that, so they just don't want to move past the hurt. They're so hurt by whatever.
Right.
And we can't give opportunity to people hurting, and then they allow them to come in and hurt others.
No, exactly.
Oh, because it's a cancer.
Right.
When, like I said, when you're doing a family event, this ain't the time for you to come in here and wear your chip on your shoulder. You're gonna come in and interact, because the interaction is what heals. Yeah. If you come there and sit into a corner over there, then you're not trying to heal. Guess what happened? Right. It's seen it's seen by the
And why
children.
did you come?
It's seen
Definitely. Yeah,
by
I was
children,
just
it's
gonna say
seen-
that.
it's
If
seen
it's
by-
that serious,
and-
just don't come.
Just don't
No, you need to come because maybe
But if
that,
you're not gonna interact,
if you're not gonna interact, no, we're gonna make you interact because we're gonna do games and stuff that it's gonna make us interact. Because what happened is we got to get people talking. Once they learn to talk,
but if they're
You-
not ready to do that, you're trying to make them. I don't
no,
think
no,
they're getting
no,
anywhere.
no, it ain't, no, it's not like a force feed them to talk. It's the point is, okay, even though you probably mad at that person, at least speak. Come in and at least speak.
Some people take that stuff to the grave. They will
Yeah,
not.
I know.
No, I get what you're saying because I think you should be able to say hi. But some people they
Yeah.
be like, like
Yeah.
they do not. They will not
And
speak.
guess
They
what?
take that to the grave.
Yeah, and they go to church. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I'm like, what is that? Where's the angel suit at? I don't see no angel. I see a devil suit on.
And then I mean, listen, churches, God says we're supposed to
That's
forgive
so
and love and all
funny.
that, but they got
Right.
this, and they're so hurt. But I don't know. Maybe if they did take the time to have a conversation, even if you
Yeah.
don't agree, and you tell someone, "Hey, you really hurt, me or whatever." But
There's
what if
that
that
communication.
person doesn't receive it? I mean, I have my own personal experience with that. I won't get into that,
Mhm.
and it is hurtful though,
It is.
because when you try to, but when I see this person, we still speak to each other
Mhm. Sure.
because we're family,
Mhm.
but it's not. But I can just tell it's not the way it should be. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I've tried to make. I can only do so much, or I don't even know what your
Yeah.
issue is or whatever. But it's just like now that we're older, it is a little bit better. But sometimes it's just like some people have some really unforgiving hearts,
They
or
do.
they have their own personal
They're
own
demons.
personal
Right.
issues
Yeah.
to where they can't even. It's not even really. I've learned that it's not even. Sometimes it's not even us. It's their own personal inside stuff that they need to deal with, and then, like you said, they take it out
Right.
on everybody. or
Because
people
that
close to them.
forgiveness frees them too. So
Yeah.
it's not just that other
Who are you really
person.
mad at?
Right.
You know, it's funny because when you have events and stuff like that, and
I go to have
when-
fun. I don't
when
go to.
when people are in that type of mindset, and they see that you're serious about something, because I remember back in the days when my grandparents were around, you can have problems with one another, but when you came around, that went out the door.
Absolutely.
Grandparents,
Yeah.
they don't
They
play that.
didn't
Yeah,
play
they-
it.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
I will
And
say
not
that.
in here.
Grandparents,
Everybody's
yeah.
having
having a good time.
Yes, and so
Y'all
you
deal
have
with
to-
us somewhere
you
else.
have to
Yes,
have-
the
you have to
grandparents
have-
definitely didn't play that.
And you have to have that, like I feel like I got the spirit of my grandparents. So when they come
Okay.
around, I'm like when I leave, like I had left at the last event we had. I had left and I found out some little chaotic stuff that happened, but it happened when I left. It wasn't there when I was there. So I was sitting there like, So I said, okay, so now I know. And I left people in charge to say, hey man, y'all hold the fort down while I go run. But I had an on call. I was on call that time. You know what I'm saying about that?
Oh yeah.
I was on call, so I had to go do an on call, and I left, and I came back. They said, oh yeah, they showed up. This is that. I'm like, I said, okay, man. I said, oh, so as soon as I left, chaos, a little fire brewed up. It wasn't bad, but I'm like, the next people should have handled that and made sure that didn't go about. So that showed me a lot. You know what I mean? That
They didn't want to deal with the
You know how we
confrontation.
talk about like how like the matriarchs and like the head of the family or whatever. Like, I kind of wonder if there's like, because like because my family really is big. They're just not here. My immediate family is
Mhm.
here, but like my grandmother who lives in Ohio, like that whole family is big, and there are tons of cousins there and all this stuff. So it's like, and of course, people don't always get along and stuff like that. But it's like you said, when we come around, like the elders per se,
Yes.
we know what's up. Like we don't. Or we know we don't get we say all that because that's how we were raised. Yes, yes, ma'am, no sir, all that. That's how we were raised. And if somebody does now, some of them might not talk to each other if but they just won't. They won't cause any. They might not talk to whoever they got the issue with or whatever.
Mhm.
But it's like it's a sense of respect around. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
just like, and kind of like what happened to because I remember growing up, we used to have like family meetings.
Mhm.
To where I need to but a family to where we would talk about what was on our mind or what concerned us or
That's
whatever.
good.
Yeah, my mom did that, and I don't know if she remembers that. And we could talk about what we needed to talk
Be
about,
free and
as long as we were like respect.
absolutely.
Which means we're not acting all crazy. We're just even if someone gets them up or whatever. Hey, this person hurt my feelings, or she did this, or she got on myself. It was just me and my sister. The girl did that. So,
Right.
but we could say, "Our mom, you yell a lot." My mom was like, "Okay, I'm gonna work on that," or but she would giggle or whatever, and then it's just stuff like that. So it's kind of like how you talked about. We talked about when we were always at Scooter at the table. We would sit around. Well, actually, it was in the living room. We would sit around, and we didn't always resolve everything.
Sure.
It was just the point that we all got to say our piece. Yeah. So even if
Hear me out.
it's like, and people, we all want to be heard.
That's it.
We want to be heard.
Right. Even if you don't agree with me, then just let me say what I gotta say.
Even if I don't feel like I hurt your feelings,
Sure.
you're telling me you did that I did. I shouldn't. And I've had to learn that I shouldn't. I just need to listen to that.
Yeah, don't poo-poo it.
Yeah, because obviously something, I don't have to agree with it, but obviously I did something that made you upset, even though I might not feel like I did. I should still listen to that.
Right.
And I should respect that. And then maybe I need to look inside myself and be like, dang, I didn't realize my intent wasn't to hurt their feelings.
There you go.
But maybe I really did.
That's growth.
So
yeah.
you have to, like you said, growth. We have to look within ourselves too, and be like, okay, well, maybe we can't always have this mentality that I'm always right.
Right.
We're not.
Alan threw a quote up here. He said, "Great societies are built by old men who plant trees, the shade of which they will never enjoy." Which the Bible talks about that. One plants a seed, somebody else waters it. So,
and then the person don't even get a chance to enjoy it. Because he's gone before the tree gets to it.
But that's that generational wealth. Like, this is coming full circle. Like, they're never going to be able to see those generations enjoy the seed that they planted. They plant the seed for generational wealth for generations to come. They're long gone, and these families are yet still running the United States. Like, you know what I mean? They are still running things. Their family is still humongous, and you're right, the world.
And and the thing is, that's why I said slave. That's why I use slave, because once we can identify what we're a slave to, we can overcome. Because if you don't know what drug you're on, or you're a drug addict or alcoholic, then you can't.
How do you treat it? True.
So us knowing that we slave to certain things, that hopefully this makes us want to go into therapy to start the healing process, so we can start to change some of the we can grow and develop out of the mindset that we're in. We're ambitious people. Remember, they try to kill us many a time, and we survived all the terrains that they put upon us. So that means that we can survive this because we're strong people, we're strong-willed. And it ain't about hatred, because we don't hate nobody. We should never hate, but we have to also remember that we still got to do for us, and because you can't do for no others if you ain't doing for yourself.
That's true.
Your house ain't in order. How can you clean someone else's? Right. So remember, we have a lot of work to do within our own house, and you can't we can't say we're prejudiced because we want to clean our house up. Because our house is dirty, our house is filthy, it's raggedy. We got to clean it up. We got to remodel it. We got to gut it out. Take all the bad stuff out. Take all that wood that's been eaten by termites. All that mortar that don't have that's deteriorated. That the foundation that's not leveled anymore. We got to get it back in place. So it's going to
it's work.
It's work. And so and remember that when we talk to each other, anytime we say something to each other, remember, we're a toolbox. So anytime you grab a tool to speak to somebody, remember, you got to grab the right tool. I can't go in a conversation with you with a hammer and then expect to
tear it up.
Then respect it here to fix something. The hammer might not be needed. It might need a blueprint. Right. It might need a tape measure. It might need a leveler. It might need something else. So we got to remember, grab the right tool when you're dealing with each other, because we all are hurting. We all going through some stuff. Just because you don't see it upon us, because we walk like we got everything together. We inside of we there's some demons in there fighting like crazy. We fighting against flesh and blood. Yeah. I mean, we got a lot of fleshly things that we are fighting against. We out here doing some things that we know we shouldn't be doing. And we out here just living life. We just moving and rotating in the world like we got the work, we got more, we got time on it, we got the most time of the day. I'm just not a hypocrite. I don't put my foot in the church halfway in the church and halfway out. I'm not gonna put my foot in there. If I'm gonna be in, I'm gonna be in. I'm not gonna be sitting there playing and do-si do and doing a double dutch while I'm in there. You know what I mean? Either I'm in, I'm not. I don't need no accolades when I'm going. I don't need no club. Yeah, I don't need all that. I got a club I'm hanging out with. I'm with. I was with a group that people might have thought that we was a great, but guess what? I learned a lot more than in that group than I have learned in the church. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that it's sad because the church is supposed to be the place where I need my sanity. I need my sanctuary. I need to go in where I can feel a connection with God. I feel more connected with God in my own home in a closet than I do sitting in a full of people who sitting there trying to put their hands on me. Don't lay no hands on me.
Well, the church is just you. The church is not the building.
Yeah,
so
don't
you can.
Don't let them people put their hands on me and try to pray for me. No, you pray for yourself.
1,000.
No, I'm just telling you. No, because you got some demons. And I see some elderly women. They are terrible, man. They are terrible.
Hateful.
They're hateful, man.
Jesus.
I never see so many elderly women who be hallelujah and screaming and flipping on the floor like a fish out of water and got so much hate toward each other.
Yeah, that's
I just never seen it. I'm just, oh man, it just hurts me. It does. It hurts me.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at what you said. I'm laughing at how you said it.
No, I'm serious. I'm talking about it hurts me because
you
because it makes me not want to go to church.
Right, and a lot of people
and
say
I don't want I know that and me learning that a lot of pastors and stuff are going to school to become pastor. They're not being called upon, but they're getting educated to be pastor. It hurts me dearly because now it's like we see where prosperity pimping preaching coming from because it's like they learn to run the church as a business. So now the church is just a business. It's not something that's actually contributing to the higher power. And so now we're seeing people fall. That's why we're seeing fall out of grace because everybody's not seeing the church as what is actually. It's a utensil that God was supposed to use that we all were supposed to be able to go in and plug into when we're going through. Yeah. And it was going to help us get out of the situation that we're in because now we get to see hope in a hopeless world. And we don't see that now. All we see is music boom. We going to churches like going to you can go to the comedy show or a concert. That's what it is now. You go in and get filled up and laugh and when you go to a comedy show, you laugh and give me, oh, that was the greatest time of my life. You feel good for that moment. But then you go back home, you got to face reality because the comedy brought reality back to your house, made you see some things that you probably didn't see, like about your relationship or about other relationships. Or you talk about things, same thing the pastor do when you go to church. And when you go to a concert, you get there hearing all the drums, the music, and the pomp, and your body twerking and your booty cheek jumping around, and so you're feeling good. But then after you leave there, you back at where you at. I don't want all that.
You got to make sure that you're in the right place. I mean, that's where that discernment comes from too. Because yes, there is preacher pimping or, pulpit pimping, whatever you're saying about, getting the money
Reverend
and this, that,
and
right.
And do wrong.
I get that. But you got to make sure that your leader.
Usher steer you wrong.
Whatever.
Usher steer you wrong. Jesus do wrong. And Reverend Chicken Wing all in there got you all hemmed up.
You got to be you got to get good leadership. We need good leadership that's rooted and grounded in the word, but that it does exist.
Real.
We saw the one internet preacher that ended up getting robbed in the pulpit.
Oh, yeah.
You remember he had cars and
he did it. He set us up. And then you got the cussing pastor out there now.
Oh, he's horrible. Oh my God, I hate to see him.
I'm just telling you.
Yes,
we're falling
like the foolery. Like that really is foolery.
It is for clicks and likes.
Yeah,
I can't stand it.
Ridiculous. And it's disrespectful to God. I'm like, God sees all. Why are y'all playing with God?
You see that woman pastor who dressed like a prostitute and be pastoring?
Yes, I saw her. Yeah, yes, I saw the woman that went up there and went off on the other lady for talking to her husband. She did that during a sermon. Yes.
I'm just saying, we got so much
it's a lot.
This Jesus, when he went in there and tore up that thing, he said, "Man, my house was a house of worship. Y'all turned into a den of thieves." You
Right.
can see it.
Yeah, that's
Good time.
You know.
that's not what church is supposed to be.
51.
Yeah, but you know, we did. You know, but I'm not saying I'm not deterring nobody from going. Because
Sure.
I believe that anybody, as long as it is able to help you out of the situation, you might have been a robber. You might want busting up, going up somebody's head. And when you went to these sermons, and it helped you stop doing that, I'm applaud you. Keep going. We don't need you bumping nobody upside the head to get something. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm glad for you. You know what I mean? But you know, I'm just saying there's a lot of work that the church is supposed to be it's supposed to be an active member.
Yes.
In a community. It's
Right.
supposed to be an active utensil. An octopus got many tentacles.
And that's where you gotta
all
get
work together.
You got to get involved with the right one.
Also,
Right.
Bringing community together and
Yeah.
teaching us how to like. Right when you get into those antics that he was talking about, that does make you like. Because no, that's not what church is supposed to be.
For
It's
sure.
supposed to be a place, like you said, where you go to connect to God,
Mhm.
and you go to get a word, and you go to get help for whatever in healing and proper guidance
There you go.
and stuff like that. So when you
Right.
get into all that other stuff,
And that does exist.
yes, it does.
So
You
yes,
have to
what
find
you're
it. Yeah.
that extreme does exist,
Yeah.
as well as a true pure pastor that is for the people, where people do come, they get plugged in, and they are doing things for the community. That does exist as well, and they are feeding people and they are helping to build.
Yeah, if you're going and if nothing is moving you to change behavior, then you're not in the right place, because your behavior is supposed to change according to what the gospel is saying.
Right.
And I'll say to that there's no time limit.
No.
So what happens is, from the outside, we'll say,
Yeah.
Keisha didn't do this and she didn't do. Keisha, I saw her. Well, you can't put her on a time limit, because that's God working.
Yes, exactly.
Again,
Yes.
one plants the seed, another waters, like it goes back
It
to.
doesn't happen overnight.
But we got to also remember. We got to also say that.
Overnight.
We also got to say this too. You know, because even though it doesn't happen overnight, we got to remember, time waits for no man or woman. So time is at an essence. It's just a point of what time you don't know when your time is out, because
because God is not on this time.
Yeah, but you worry about God's time, but worry about the time that you only have. Your time might not be. You can go out today, right now, and get hit by a car.
Absolutely.
And your time is gone.
Absolutely.
You know,
1,000. If anybody knows that, I know that.
And so that's what I'm saying.
That very thing affected my family. Yes.
I'm not saying that time that you don't, because we all are we all racing against time. Because remember, from the day we clocked in on this earth to the day we clock out.
I'm short.
And in between, if you look at the obituary, look at the headstone. They got the time you came in the world, and the time
date,
and then they got an exponent. It got a minus going across there.
It sure does.
That time right there. That's where it said what counted between those two times, the two dates.
Absolutely.
So that is what we're gonna get judged on. That exponent, that
the hyphen.
minus.
Yeah.
So we have to remember that. That is important. And I'm not saying that because my minus is probably this short now. It was this long, but now it's this short. So I'm still fighting. I got to get myself together, because I see it getting smaller, and I don't know when my time is up.
None of us do.
And
That's
I don't
the
want
part.
to keep making excuses saying, "Well, I got enough time." It's only God time. No, because God He gave us the map, the blueprint. He didn't give us a hammer. Yeah. He didn't give us a jackhammer. He didn't give us a shovel. He gave us a blueprint. And He said, with this blueprint, utilize it, and I'm gonna help. And
I'll never leave you.
It's gonna help you through,
right,
to make you a better person. So when I come, I can't say I know you not,
for sure,
child of iniquity. And then so we have to do. That's why I try to treat people with. I get frustrated, and I do be a little snappy here and there, and this and that, but I care. And I try to treat people accordingly. I just gotta, sometimes when I'm going through something, just leave me alone for a minute. Let me figure it out, because I hate to snap on people. That's why I try to stay quiet, because I know my mouth. I would say something, and it's like, because I've been around I've done a lot of things, and I'm still repenting for a lot of things I did from my childhood.
Hmm.
And I don't know when that time is gonna catch up with me.
No, that's
So
not-
I try to keep it. I
If you
try to.
repented, then
I try to do things.
That's
stay
the
in-
belief.
Yeah.
It's washed. Right. We don't keep. That's done. Or
Yeah,
yes.
but love is one of the greatest gifts you can ever have, man. I think
definitely.
and I
Yeah.
think as long as we learn how to utilize true love and how to utilize it properly and
Hmm.
put it in its proper content on how we deal with one another, we won't have no problem. And I think that's what we lack it in our community. I think we just lost
The
essence
love.
of what love really is.
Yeah. It got tainted somewhere.
Definitely.
You know,
Love
because then
don't
we
come
put
along.
money, we put a
Yeah.
cost on
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Love has no
Love
we
has-
put-
we put a contract on it.
Yeah,
So I
it
mean,
doesn't.
and the contract says that if you don't treat me the way I want to be treated, I'm
Out
gonna
of
treat you-
there.
I'm out of there. I don't want to deal with you. I hate you. And I'm
yeah.
gonna blaspheme against you. I'm gonna
And tell,
destroy your
yeah.
character. That's the contract.
And
Yeah.
now, instead of doing that amongst each other, like we being gossiping, now people do it all on Facebook,
Just-
social
Yes.
media.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Blah. It's
Yeah.
like,
Slaves.
And just lies, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
and
lies.
there's
Slave
no
to lies.
accountability
Why
right,
are we slave?
and-
Why are we slave to lies?
to lies.
We don't
and,
want to hear the truth no more.
right, and they just tell one side of the story. Don't tell the whole story.
Oh.
Just tell the one side.
Ooh,
then you get the like, because you see the one side,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we're like, and I've been, guilty of that, seeing the one side, and then be like, oh, wait, then here's something, because then you get all this validation from online,
you can see it.
because we don't know, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
like, in women, we can, we like to, I don't want to say coddle, but we like, if we see one side of a woman, we normally,
coddle.
depending on what it is, if we don't know, but then sometimes it's like, that's not always right, because there always is two sides
It
to the
is.
story. Or
Yeah.
I guess three.
But
Maybe
it's
He
three.
said, she said, in the truth.
And the truth.
So it's like,
But it's,
Yeah.
it's your nature, though. Y'all
'cause
always
that's how
have-
God made us.
Yeah,
He did.
y'all gonna give them the benefit of the doubt until they prove me wrong.
So
Yeah.
true.
So
Yeah.
that's what y'all do. Men, we always have this stance where we take, and we always going to look for the worst before we look for the good, because that's just how that's how we protect.
Right.
Hmm.
That makes sense.
We can't protect if we went into a war, a battlefield, and thinking that they're gonna fight fair.
Right.
Not
that
at all.
makes sense. Right.
So you
right.
have to think of the worst before you think about the good. Even though you got all these Geneva codes saying that no, you must not use mass weapon of mass destruction. Hey, my enemy don't give a damn about that Geneva code.
Right.
Right.
And I'm trying to live by it. Oh no.
Yeah, I want to see the next day.
I want to see the
Absolutely.
next day. I'm gonna go in there shooting and kill anything I can get over to.
Yeah.
You put me in this war, let me do what I
Let's
gotta
go.
Yeah.
do.
And that makes
Absolutely.
sense. I like how you do it. Because, because we do think differently. So that makes sense.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it ain't that we think differently. It's just that y'all balance us and we
Men and
balance
women
y'all.
do think differently, though.
It's a balance.
No, y'all balance us and we
It
balance
has to
because
be a
there's some
balance.
things we deal with how we deal with our kids might not be effective, and a mother can come over and lay a hand on the shoulder and say, you know what, I think you should have talked to him a little bit different. I think you might have. And then the father has to sit back and think and say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go try it this way. Go over there. It can be effective. Then sometimes the father can say, no, mama, your way ain't working. Let me do it this way,
Mhm.
and then that'd be effective. So it's always a checks and balance. We create. That's why he said we complement each other. And when people say they're being submissive, we both are submissive to each other.
Right.
Has to be.
Right, yeah.
Has to be.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So that's just all
Yeah.
that is. But anyway, our time is up. I want to let the queens give their final thoughts, then so we can end the show. This is a great topic, and I love how we stayed on course. And I appreciate what y'all brought to the table. Y'all taught me a lot tonight. Who wants to go first? Don't let you go first. Since you're a newbie.
Newbie. I would say final thoughts would be what I really enjoy is for us to prepare a way of generational wealth for the generations to come. I think that is important. I think that we need more togetherness, and like you said, love and true love, like getting back. I think we just need to get back to the basics. What worked before. Okay, this is what worked before. Let's try and get some of those things back into our community, back into our homes, back to parents, back to the children, so that we can have a better foundation. And it's like Brother Allen said, we're we're a little bit behind, but it can be done. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
I covered a lot. I covered it all. Yeah, the whole when we talked about the togetherness and love, and as far as the communities, making sure that our homes are in order, and that we are being that example for the community. Do what you can to help, in the community the best you can. Be that example to the young people, to your neighbors. Like you said, just show that love, because like now before we knew our neighbors, we said hi, whatever. Now say hi, nice garage, just show love to each other, even if we don't feel like, just show that love, because there's so much going on in the world, so many people are hurting, we don't know what people got going on. Just show love and kindness to people and be that example.
I got it.
Read the definition of slave.
All right, so we have slave as a noun, a person who is forced to work for and obey another and is considered to be their property, an enslaved person. It says they kidnapped entire towns and turned the inhabitants into slaves. Another one that's a noun, it says a device or part of one directly controlled by another. It says a slave cassette deck. And then as a verb, it says work excessively hard. After slaving away for 14 years, all he gets is $2,000. And then it says the subject, to control by another. It says, should the need arise, the two channels can be slaved together. So
the reason why I wanted her to read that, because understand that a slave means that you're a possession to something or somebody. So sometimes we become possessed. We become a possession to we possess to a lie, because once you lie, you got to continue with the lie, and you got to live that lie. And then if you possessed by materials, those material things cause you to be a slave to it, because now you will do anything to keep it, and you will kill people to have it. So remember that. Be careful what you're being possessed by when you become a slave to. So I just want to say, love, life, loyalty, we us and ours. And thank you for showing up.
A rich man's world. I have turned the soul of this beautiful land, but the